Hello, everyone. I'm Susie Castillo. I'm a Latina woman with short dark hair and glasses. I'm wearing a striped shirt, and behind me there are curtains and lights and shelves. If you have any questions related to Zoom, please feel free to send me a message in the chat, and I'm happy to help you all with that.
Thanks so much, Susie. We're happy to have you with us. I'm now going to share a land acknowledgement from my current residence on ancestral Tongva land in South Los Angeles. LACMA respectfully acknowledges that the lands on which our museum is built and the region that we serve is the ancestral and unceded territories of the Gabrielino Tongva, Gabrielino Kizh, Fernandeño Tataviam, and Ventureño Chumash peoples. Los Angeles County has been and is home to many indigenous peoples. So thank you again for joining us at Evenings for Educators, LACMA's oldest professional development program for teachers. Today, we continue our focus on the Obama Portraits Tour and Black American portraits with a hands-on art making workshop that looks at artist Kehinde Wiley's iconic portrait of President Barack Obama. Both of these exhibitions, the Obama Portraits Tour and Black American Portraits, center Black American subjects, sitters, and spaces. You may already know that the Obama portraits are currently on a whirlwind tour across the country, and they will be at LACMA until January 2nd. Black American Portraits was developed to accompany the Obama portraits, and it's on view until April 17th of next year, so you have plenty of time to view that show. Drawn largely from our permanent collection, this exhibition looks at how Black Americans throughout history have used portraiture to envision themselves in their own eyes. And Susie's going to share a document in the chat now that has various resources in it for you. So just click the link, save it for later. You'll find a link for our mailing list, a promo code to visit the museum for free, links to register for our upcoming events, which I'll talk about in just a minute, as well as some curricular resources and online courses. We've created some really robust resources for this program, which you'll find linked in that document. You'll also find our teaching artist Alessa Quiroz's lesson plan for today in those resources. So definitely check those out. So I just wanted to share this slide that's up here so you can see how the rest of this Evenings for Educators program looks. The way we've been doing things virtually is that we have 4 different events that happen as part of one single program. Tuesday, we had a lecture with Dr. Liz Andrews. Today we have a workshop, and then next Tuesday we have a really special opportunity for you and a guest to come to LACMA after hours for free to view the 2 highlighted exhibitions, as well as everything else that is currently on view at the museum. So it's basically like private viewing for teachers and select students at the museum. And we're going to have a DJ. There's going to be some gallery activities that you can do. We'll have pencils and notebooks for you to walk around the galleries with, and some special giveaways as well, which I won't reveal right now, but we have some special things for teachers for you and your students. So we'd love to see you there. We'd love to connect in person. Feel free to spread the word about that. The link to sign up is also in the document that Susie put in the chat. Be sure to save that link because it's not actually on our website. We couldn't put it publicly on the website because we wanted it to only be for these select students and teachers. So get the link from the document, share it with your colleagues, and hopefully we'll see you next Tuesday, the 7th. And closing out this program, next Thursday, we'll have another virtual art workshop. And you can also sign up for that in the doc that Susie put in the chat. Finally, Evenings for Educators is an LAUSD salary point course. If you're participating for credit or any other kind of professional development credit today, be sure to fill out the survey that we put in the chat at the end of the program. So around 6 p.m., Susie will be sharing that link in the chat. Just keep an eye out for it, fill out the survey, and we will keep track of your credit for you. And now I'm going to introduce today's teaching artist, Alessa Quiroz. Alessa is a bilingual visual artist and educator based in Los Angeles. Growing up in Miami, surrounded by various cultures, she cultivated her love of art, passion for teaching, and dedication for making art accessible to underserved communities. Her experience ranges from having work shown in galleries to being the lead art teacher at a Title I middle school. Currently, Alessa works as a teaching artist at the Los Angeles County Museum of Art. Thanks, Alessa. I'm going to turn it over to you.
Awesome. Thanks so much, Laura. Well, welcome everybody. Thank you all for joining us today after school on a Thursday. I know it's a lot, so thank you for being here. Yeah, so the title of this workshop is Expressive Collage Portraits. So we're going to be taking a look at Obama's portrait and then doing some artwork based off of that. So this is the official presidential portrait by Kehinde Wiley. Right away, does something like stand out for you guys? Or maybe like what's different about this portrait than past presidential portraits? Feel free to unmute yourselves, or you could write it in the chat.
His background, his use of background.
Yes, exactly. The use of background. That's on the first time I saw this painting, that is straight like where my eyes went to was just all the green and the foliage. So Kehinde Wiley, the artist, what he's known for is he's known for painting these really colorful, like large scale portraits of African Americans posing as famous figures from the history of Western art. Obviously, in this case, it is not a pose. He's not posing as a Western historical figure, right? He is a historical figure. So that was really neat. And then, so let's move on to these flowers. So there are zoomed up images of flowers. Does anybody in here have like a green thumb? Does anybody know? Can anybody name any of these flowers? Because I know I definitely had to Google.
I don't know the name of the flowers, but they grow in Chicago.
Yes, awesome. Yeah, so actually I think it's the chrysanthemums. Yeah, the first one. That is the official flower of Chicago. That's so awesome that you know that. Are you from Chicago?
Yeah.
Nice. Awesome. Yeah, so that first one, that is their chrysanthemums from official flower of Chicago. So already we have some symbolism there. And then that second flower, those are African blue lilies. I know they look kind of purple, but they're called African blue lilies. And that was to honor his late Kenyan father. And then at the very bottom, we have the white jasmines. And that, of course, represents Hawaii. So not only is it, of course, a portrait of Obama, and very clearly is it Obama, but even in the background, there's like subtle hints everywhere that it is Barack Obama. And then, so back to the title, right? The title is Expressive Collage Portraits. What can you tell me about his expression or maybe like his mood? Does it seem like he's comfortable? Is it super serious? Somebody said serious?
Serious, yeah.
Okay, somebody said pensive, calm.
He knows what's coming.
He knows what's coming. Yeah, seems very wise, right? So maybe that's also something. Oh, somebody's saying proud. He does look proud, thoughtful, confident. Awesome. Yeah, so this is something that maybe we also want to keep in mind. I know this lesson is like geared towards the younger ones, so there's only so much we could do. But we could definitely talk about like mood and expressing the mood through art. And then up next we have, oh, before we go on, does anybody have any questions or any other comments? No? Awesome. All right, and then up next are some vocab words. Awesome. Yeah, so these are our two main vocab words for today. So we have collage. That's basically an artwork that's made up of a bunch of different materials cut and glued together on another surface. So we will be using the white paper and the construction paper. We'll also be using various media. I know in the lesson it said coloring tools, so feel free to use any kind of coloring tools. And I find that usually students really like collages just because like they get to like piece a bunch of things together. And then we have portrait, right? So a portrait is a painting or a photograph of a person's face and their expression. Using the emoji tools, like in the reactions in the bottom, give me like a thumbs up if you think you could use any of these vocab words for your students. Just want to know how like age appropriate. Oh, thumbs up. Somebody wrote thumbs up. That works too. All right, we got a couple of thumbs up. Awesome, good to know. All right, and then we should be seeing a picture of, right, awesome. So this is actually a student example. There were no drawing materials, so it was also a collage using magazines, which could be another like cool thing to integrate. But yeah, so this is an example of, I know sometimes students get really intimidating doing a portrait.
Alessa, you just got muted.
Oh no, okay. Are we good? Okay. What was the last thing we heard?
Students get intimidated.
Oh, awesome. Thank you. So sometimes students get intimidated by doing a portrait, right? Because they feel like it needs to look exactly like a person, or it needs to look pretty or perfect. But this is honestly a great example about how it doesn't need to be like traditionally pretty, right? It could be funky, it could be weird. Honestly, as long as the face has an eye, a nose, and a mouth, you can tell it's a face. All right, and then this is another set of vocabulary words. I know proportion might be maybe like a little above grade level. So if you are going to take any of the two, maybe I would focus a little bit more on symmetry. That might be geared better towards the younger ones. But just in case, so proportion is the relation based on size between parts or objects within a composition, right? So in this case, we were looking at proportions of a face. Usually it's like, when you draw a face, you space out, like, let's say there's an eye, and then you're supposed to be able to fit like an eye into another eye. And then your eyes are supposed to be like halfway in your head. And then of course, symmetry, it's the mirror image, right? When the two halves are mirror images of each other, same thing on both sides. And then we should have an image, just awesome, right? It's just like a quick outline. And again, if students get a little too intimidated, you can tell them to do it abstract, right? Abstract, you could do whatever. Again, as long as you have a nose, an eye, and a mouth, you can make out that it's a face. And then we have our final vocab words coming up. Right, and then these are pretty simple. Oh, sorry, I forgot to ask on the last slide, but is on the last slide, give me a thumbs up if you could use either of the two vocab words. Either symmetry or proportion. Okay, couple thumbs up. Probably the symmetry one. Awesome. All right, and then these are our last two vocab words. Line and pattern. I think these are also perfect vocab words for the grade level. You can even integrate it with math. So of course, line is a mark made using a drawing tool or a brush, right? So a line could be literally anything. And then we have pattern, which is a design and where lines, shapes, forms, or colors are just repeated throughout, just like the background from the portrait. And then here we just have some really simple examples of lines and patterns. And then now give me a thumbs up if you think you could use any of these vocab words. Yay, more thumbs up. Awesome. I really appreciate the person writing thumbs up every time. That's some dedication. All right. Okay, so these are the materials, really simple. So we have a pencil, glue stick, scissors, white paper, colored construction paper. And for the coloring tools, I just left it as coloring tools because you could use crayons, you could use markers or color pencils, whatever you're comfortable with. For today, I will be using color pencils just because I think it's easier to get little details in, but maybe for the younger ones, markers and crayons would be nice because you get to like get a lot of like coverage area pretty fast. And before we move on to the art making portion, does anybody have any questions either about the portrait, the activity, materials, vocab words? Feel free to write in the chat or unmute yourselves. Nope. Okay, awesome. So it's on to the art making time, which is my favorite part, of course. All right. So scoot over. So like I said, I will be using coloring tools. Coloring pencils. And this is an example that was already made. So as you can see, I did color pencils for the background. I chose to do avocados just because I love avocados, and if I could eat half of an avocado every day, I would. And then for for the face, for the portrait, I kept it with just the coloring paper. So the way that I usually start is using the white paper. That's what you're gonna start off with, the base, using the coloring pencils, and then this is the part that you would make a pattern. So for the younger ones, I would maybe suggest maybe coming up with like a line pattern. You could do maybe like zigzags and then polka dots and then lines, and then just repeat that throughout the whole thing. So it's a little bit more simple. And then maybe with the first or second graders, if you feel comfortable enough doing this with them, they could either maybe pick like a symbol, or maybe they could do how Wiley did it. They could pick their official flower of whatever country they're from, and they could just draw it all in the background. So if all of you have your tools, feel free to make some art along with me. I'm going to do it more based off of Wiley's work. So I will be drawing the official flower of Peru, which is where I'm from. And I think it's called Boxiphilia, something like that. It was some weird pronunciation. So I'm going to start with the background, and it has kind of like a bulbish shape. And when you do this project with your students, if you do decide to go like the symbolic route, I would recommend you tell them to draw it really big, because the smaller they draw, the more that they're going to have to do on the paper. So it might just be easier for them to do like a couple of large drawings instead of a bunch of tiny ones, like this avocado one, because this took me quite a while and it was just avocados. So after this bulbous shape, it has kind of like a skirt around it. And then it has these little like antennas sticking out. Can anybody raise their hand if you are doing the activity along with me? We're doing some form of art. Okay. See a couple hands up. Feel free to use the reaction feature too if your camera's turned off. Yay, a lot of you guys. Awesome. Does anybody want to write in the chat what they're choosing to do their background? Somebody saying, oh, pan dulce. Oh, we got, wow, some people doing poppies, donuts and coffee. That's awesome. I'm just trying to refocus the video. Awesome. Oh, somebody's doing oak trees, oranges, line pattern, your favorite colors. Nice, keeping it simple. Oh, and you're a kinder teacher. That makes sense. So does anybody want to share their reasons for choosing those objects? Or food? There's lots of food. That's fun.
Or state flower.
A state flower. Yeah. So if you do decide to go like the flower route, right? That could be a good lesson to tie into maybe like American history or like geography. Maybe they could do like a research project, look up the national flowers, and then they would be doing the background with whatever, I guess, state or country they choose. The person who wrote oranges, are you from Florida?
No. Hi, I'm Genesis.
Oh, okay.
Um, they're terrible oranges, by the way. Oranges. So I live in the city of Orange in California, but I think if you're ever in Orange, and many cities probably, there's a lot of people who are selling oranges. And as I was driving home today, just the thought was like, they sell oranges in Orange.
Orangeception. That's sweet. I was asking because I'm from Florida, right? And our thing is oranges. So I'm like, oh no, a fellow Floridian. So I'm sure as you all can already see, just the process of doing these patterns over and over again, it does take a while. So if you did want to extend the lesson, you could maybe do one whole class just on deciding what pattern you want to do and filling the whole thing with pattern. And then maybe the second class could be dedicated more towards the actual portrait part. That way they could really go into details with their patterns and not feel as rushed. Oh, Sarah just put in the chat, hey, no put downs to your art, I guess in reference to your bad oranges. I like that. Great comment, Sarah. That's what we tell the kiddos. Oh, and somebody wrote, cactus represents my Mexican culture, food, el nopal en la frente. Phrase used by some to refer to indigenous looks. I'm loving all these cultural references. The person who wrote donuts and coffee, is that your regular morning breakfast every day? You go to? Coffee is nice. Can't do life without coffee. All right, and just for the sake of trying to at least kind of finish this workshop, with this project within like the next like 13, 15 minutes. Obviously my background is not done, still missing a lot more flowers, and I'm missing obviously to add color and color them in. But I do want to show you all how to start doing the face. And so the way that I would start first is I would start like working my way back. So I would do the shape of the face and the neck first, and then do the shape of the eyes, the nose, and the mouth. And then last but not least, it would be the hair. So for this part, we're going to jump over to the colored construction paper. And I think I'm going to do a blue face. So, yeah, I'm going to do a light blue face. And using my pencil, I'm just going to first, I like to start off with the neck. Okay, that's better. Right, so we have just regular neck shape, and then start with the face shape. And a simple way to do it is you kind of have like two curves, one curve on the left side, a slight curve on the right side, and then usually the bottom is just like a V. It's just everything is curved. And then of course from here you can edit. Maybe you don't want a super pointy chin, could erase that and curve it out. Maybe for like the really younger ones, they could already have like a template of this cut out, or maybe some kind of stencil, so they don't get too stressed about the face shape. And then the top part, this part doesn't matter too much, just because at the very end we're going to go over it with the hair. So don't worry too much about the very top of the head. And once you have your shape, that's when you go ahead and cut it out. And now what I like to do is, since obviously we were using the pencil, you can see all of these pencil marks. And so what I like to do is I just flip it over. That way there's no pencil marks. But now we kind of like lost our chin. So I'm gonna go back, find a blue color pencil. So I want to keep it maybe like the same color as my paper, maybe just a little darker, just so that chin doesn't get lost. And now that I have that, I'm going to go ahead and glue that down. So I'm putting glue on the side where all of the pencil marks are. And then I'm lining up the bottom, trying to center it as best as I can. Right, so that would be the first step. We start off with the face and the neck. And then what I would do is go back and pick another color paper. So I'm going to jump over to like a light green now. And then I would start making some eyes. And usually the way that I describe eyes when the kids have to draw them is I do like a curve on the top. So I tell them it's like a rainbow. Right? We have the top line of the rainbow. And then do the same thing on the bottom. And then you already have your eye shape. And then just do it again. Have the top line of the rainbow, bottom line. If the kids know what almonds look like, you can describe them as almonds, but sometimes I found not all the kiddos know what almonds look like. And then once you have your eyes, then you have kind of like a circle, and it doesn't completely touch the bottom, and it kind of like gets cut off at the top. So there's like a little gap in the bottom and it gets cut off at the top. And of course, do the same thing on the other side. And then we do the little pupil in the center. And then for the nose, I usually describe it as like an upside, like a triangle or like one of those like orange traffic cones, because everything is curved. And then in the bottom, I just tell them that there's like 3 little squiggly lines in the bottom. So we have the first squiggly line, the second one, and then the third one. And then of course from here you can edit, you can make them longer, you can make them wider, you can make them skinnier. I'm just doing the generic face shapes. And then for the mouth, this is when you can start getting creative. So if you did want to go into like that expressive part of the lesson, maybe you could do like a closed mouth, you could do a smiling mouth with your lips closed or your lips open, or you could do like a shocked expression. So there's a bunch of different ways you can do this. But first, to get the general lip shape, I tell them that it looks like a little mountain range with two tips. And then the middle line, it goes straight and then with a slight curve. And then the bottom lip is usually the one that's a little fuller. And it's like a wave, right? So from here, this would be the general shape, and then you could go any way you want with it. I think I might do like a shocked expression, just because I think I made my eyes so wide that I feel like the only mouth that would go would be a shocked expression. Oh, and in about like 5 minutes, we're gonna go ahead and go into our breakout rooms. So Susie just shared a link. It's a slideshow. It's an editable slideshow where after you're done or at some point during the breakout rooms, feel free to take a picture of your artwork and then drop it in the Google slideshow. That way at the end, we could kind of like do like a little slideshow presentation and see everybody's artwork. That looks funny. Does anybody want to share any of their facial expressions they're drawing, or did most everybody keep it simple? Just the regular mouth. Well, after all of your after all of your parts of the face are drawn out, go ahead and cut it. Oh, I did forget the eyebrows. So we are missing some eyebrows. Oh, and before we go out into the breakout rooms, don't have quite enough time to glue everything down, but you would just like arrange it on the face. Usually I tell them to, once everything's cut out, place it on the face first. So like set up all your facial features on the face before you glue something down, because sometimes you might start gluing the nose down here and then you realize, oh no, it's too low. So I would set it up on the page first and then glue it down. And then the last thing I did want to show you all is a technique for hair. So so far we've been using our scissors to cut everything, but for hair, I actually like to rip paper just because I feel like it gives it like a softer texture, and it's a nice contrast between like the sharp edge of scissors between like the smoother, more like wrinkly edges of ripped paper. So usually I just pull on the paper and then try to like curve it on the top for the shape of the head. I would cut it on the bottom. Right, so this could be my first piece of hair, something like that. And then you could keep just adding pieces of the ripped paper. And I just think it gives it like a really neat look. Do you have any questions so far on the art making part? No. Okay, awesome. All right, so it is time for our breakout rooms. So we're gonna have 10 minutes total in the breakout rooms. Here's like some suggestions. So maybe for the first 5 minutes, you can share whatever art you've been able to do so far. Maybe talk about who you chose to depict, right? Did you choose to do a self-portrait? Did you choose somebody inspiring? Did you choose a family member? Maybe also talk about what patterns did you make, right? Were they symbolic, or did you just choose to do like some abstract lines and patterns and polka dots? And then maybe the last 5 minutes could be dedicated to discussing classroom applications. How could you apply this in your classroom? And what other lessons, what other subjects could this lesson be applied to? Any questions on the breakout rooms? No. Cool. Oh, and don't forget to take your pictures and upload them to the Google Slideshow. That way we could all see our masterpieces. Whoa. We really went multimedia.
Okay, that's my.
I
was okay. Yeah, I am multimedia because I'm not an art teacher. I'm actually a retired physical education teacher, but I am an artist. So I saw this online and I was like, oh, that sounds like a fun class to go to.
Oh.
Since I'm a teacher. And I actually uploaded that one by mistake because that wasn't the assignment. I actually did the assignment. I just didn't have all the materials. Right. There's my assignment.
Oh.
I tried to collage it.
It definitely looks like a collage. We have like the colored paper, then we have some pattern paper.
Yeah. There you
go. Is it a self-portrait? Who did you choose to do?
It's whomever you see.
Yep. I think that's what I did on mine too. It's a person. And then the background, is it just like Christmas themed, or is it how?
There you go.
Got it.
That is the background.
Like for me. Awesome. Thank you for sharing.
Mm-hmm.
Ooh. Ooh. I love those strips of paper. Individual strips. That could be a lot of fun in the background. Does the artist want to come on and share a little bit? No pressure. You don't have to.
Sure. The artist is me again.
Oh, The oranges. Why didn't I guess that? My
Uh,
bad.
I mentioned to my group, I'm in my home, but I used Post-its. So it was like a quick little just cut. And I mainly feel proud. So maybe I'm speaking for others, but super relaxing. So thank you. I needed this. So just to get that off my chest.
I'm glad.
And the creativity, my lips are, I went to go put lipstick really quick because I can't draw.
Oh, is that your lipstick imprint?
Mhm.
That is genius. That's already a printmaking technique. So we're already involving another kind of art style in here. So
Yeah.
creative. I love the ingenuity.
So,
Lipstick and Post-it notes. That's all you need, really.
Post-its, lipstick. So yeah, and I'm a language teacher, so I'm English language development and then Spanish. So I was mentioning to the group, I'm like, oh, this just works for so many things, and I'm high school. That I just see it working with various topics, whether it's for the identity, the self art, like them as artists, but other people, other topics, and the option of creating a collage. I really like it. So really cool idea. I'm not creative, artistic at all. I'm like, oh, this is amazing.
I'm so happy you found so many applications. That's awesome. I'm
Can
glad
I
to hear
say
it.
the hair looks like dreadlocks? You know, because there's strips.
Yeah, the box spread. That's awesome.
Thank you.
Oh no.
I think that's all the artworks that were put in, but I did see somebody ask us to share the slideshow link again. Was it Zonia? Do you want to just hold yours up and show it? Yeah, show it now.
The old-fashioned way.
Yes. Let me see. So I didn't glue it together. I'm sorry. 1 second, sorry. Okay. So this is the cactus pattern. I just have it separate.
Oh, whoa. That's cool. What kind? Is that regular white paper or is that some other kind?
Yeah, it's just white paper. No, I don't have the colored.
That looks so cool though. It doesn't look like white paper.
Oh,
That's
yeah.
neat.
It's the same. Well, I gave it a tiny bit of tan color. I should have darkened it a little bit more, but yeah.
And what kind of coloring tools did you use?
Marker and colored pencil. Mostly.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice touch. Thank you for sharing. Does anybody else want to share the old-fashioned way? Just hold it up.
I did not glue it down, so I can't, but I put it in the Google Slides.
Oh.
I can try mine. I didn't have any colored paper, so I only had magazines to work from.
Oh, that's good.
That's even better. Amazing. I love the mouse.
Thank you.
She is a loud woman.
There's a little collage.
Thanks for sharing.
Alessa, we had some more artworks get added to the slideshow really late, so I'm going to share my screen again in just a second.
Okay. And I think Susan was also showing up her work. I saw some roses there.
Yeah.
That was nice. Yay. Got the LA. Does the artist want to come up and talk?
I don't know whose that is, but I really like it.
Yeah, comments are welcome too. Compliments are also welcome. Nice. I love the LA. I'm assuming that's the LA Dodgers. Yes, not from here. Oh.
That's mine. So I didn't know what to draw. I couldn't draw flowers, so I thought, okay, I'm from California, not the California flower, but I kind of know the shape, and I've been trying to teach the kindergarten students how to do their shape and where Los Angeles is and where we are. So I drew that on the white paper, and then I did my hair, my eyes, and then I just did a little kind of background.
Super neat. I love that you did like little fringes for the bangs, and it looks like
I have bangs. I try to do myself.
Yeah, I see it. I see it. You did a great job. I was like, that's definitely a self-portrait. I knew that.
had so much fun. This is like the other colleagues said, total SEL. I love coming to these. Everybody's always so nice. I learned something. I can do something with the kids tomorrow. It's like I'm ready to go and I'm so excited.
Oh, that makes me so happy. Thank you. That's the whole point. Ooh, I like this one. Very stylistic. Added some details in the hair. Yeah, I love the hair. Somebody commented. Me too. Oh, this is donuts and
Donuts.
coffee.
Coffee.
This is donuts and coffee. Oh, is this yours?
No.
Oh, everybody just knows about donuts and coffee. Nice. Oh,
Christina, I saw your hand raised. Was that your artwork?
Oh, no, I had a question though. Someone in my group, because now that I'm seeing this, she was asking this, actually it was the first one. She said, what are you doing for your nose? And I was like, well, I'm just doing what, our instructor did because I couldn't think of anything. So if you can go back to the previous slide, I just wanted whoever's that was, they can talk to us about, that I would have never thought. So it was Jacqueline. Yeah. So can you talk to us? Because I was like, oh, that shape was so much easier to cut, but it looks really cool. So Jacqueline, if you could talk to us about that.
Okay, well, I know my nose doesn't look like that, but you said I can go abstract. So when I talk to my students about shapes in the face, most of the time you can make your nose is a triangle. And sometimes if you want to look at different angles, so I literally took my scissors and I just cut a piece off from my construction paper.
Nice. It definitely works, especially with all those yellow highlights you have on the nose, the shoulders, the hair. Ties it all in. Great job.
Thank you.
In case folks have to run, I think it is about 6 o'clock now. Susie shared the resources and sign up links in the chat again, as well as the survey. So if you got to run, all that stuff is there for you. We also shared Alessa's presentation if you want to use that in your classrooms. And if folks want to continue, I'm more than happy to continue looking at your art.
Well, I want to show mine. I didn't get to start because I was literally teaching a class, my art class, Zoom class with the kids. But I started off with kind of this, going in that direction. But I want to show you, can I share my screen with the work that the kids did?
Laura?
Yeah, let me just make sure we get through the artworks that are in this slideshow, and then we can switch over to yours, okay?
All right.
That would be great.
But I did do one in a previous class. That was cool, kind of sort of the same thing.
Nice. So many portraits. Oh, this one's so lovely. I love the glasses. Nice. Little orange details in the hair. Is the artist here? Do you want to talk about it?
I'm here. It looks just like me, I feel like. I'm a big reader, so I got my books and then I just look for a book image, but it looks like it's in German.
Nice.
But I like this activity. I'll definitely probably even do it tomorrow with my students.
Yeah.
I love doing self-portraits and something like this, that they don't have to feel like they have to get it exactly perfect,
Exactly.
It opens them up. So thank you.
Of course, you're welcome.
And I like how you're just using actually the construction paper. You know what I mean? It does something else because it's stuff that's readily available. When I was talking to the kids, I'm like, okay, next week, get your parents to get the magazines so you can cut things out, but we have construction paper, so this is gonna work.
Yay, I'm glad. The easier, the better, right? Art should be accessible to all.
Thank you. Okay, bye.
That's the end of the slideshow.
Yay. That was lovely.
So Sally, if you want to go ahead and share your students' work, that's totally okay. Folks, we understand it's past 6. If you have to go, that's fine, but feel free to stay with us.
So we did watercolor. So they did watercolor first, and then they colored it with, they did a tree, and then they did colored it with crayon or color pencil. And yeah, so they're not the best photos, but you know, with Zoom, that's what you get.
You know, that's amazing that you did that, because I've done watercolor and crayon projects, but it's usually reverse. I do the crayon first because it's like a crayon resist project, and then watercolor on top, but I've never thought to do the inverse.
I've got that from I got it from an image, like just a different image, and I was trying to figure out how can I do that with them.
Yeah.
And yeah, and that's what I came up with. So, but yeah, we were doing it while you were teaching, and yeah, so
You gotta do what you gotta do.
and I let them listen, and I was able to show them the paintings from the museum too.
Oh,
So that was good. Thank you.
that's awesome. Of course. I'm happy you enjoyed it. Any final comments?
Thank you. That was a lot of fun.
I'm glad. So nice to hear people enjoying it, finding it relaxing, finding other classroom applications.
Guys.
Oh,
Thank you. Thank you all so much. Thank you, Alessa. Thank you to our captioner, Mary, for providing the live captions for this event. Thank you, Susie, behind the scenes for helping with tech support and everything. It definitely takes a team to make these programs happen. And yeah, we're just so happy to see you. Have a great night, everybody.
Yeah. Bye, everyone. Thank you.